10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, people? I know it's Wednesday, but that's what we're doing with the summer show now. We're dropping it anytime, any day. We're back, people. Summer panel show. It's been a minute. We've got a lot to chop up. And we've almost got a full house. Aaron, George, Lee, Lewis, Daps. What's going on, brothers?
Good.
All good.
All good, man. All good.
We signed someone.
We sold someone. Woo.
Yeah,
more than someone,
do you know what? Let's not even waste any time. I know Aaron and Lewis will be leaving a bit early. Let's not even waste any time. Let's jump straight in. Let's start with that then, Lewis. You said you've signed someone. I know you was eagerly anticipating this. Last show, you was extremely annoyed that you hadn't even made one movement. Now it looks like you're buying the whole world and Abramovich is still funding the club. Talk to me, bro.
It's beautiful. They all thought we were mudded. As soon as Roman goes, apparently all the money's going to dry up. All the transfer targets ain't going to be interested in meaty little old Chelsea. And it turns out we were just waiting for one wheel to move to start the entire motion. And yeah, we got what will be the second or third best centre-back in the league walking in as soon as his flight gets into London. Raheem, the Jamaican dream, has already touched down in LA with the rest of the Chelsea squad. Obviously, there's still plenty of additions that need to be made. We're not challenging for the league title regardless. We'll either have too many people to bed in the squad or we won't have enough depth. But we're building to close the gap on Liverpool and City and then try to contend the next season. Raheem Sterling already walks in and has become our best forward by an absolute mile. So I'm already happy with the signing, even though we still need more on top of him. Hopefully we get a number 9 in or somebody creative. I don't mind either or potentially both. But it's about time we made some moves. And we're finally making some moves. And I'm very happy, very satisfied.
Do you know what?
Sounds like, innit?
I'm loving the optimism, man. I'm loving the optimism.
50.
Slight optimism. We're still not finishing higher than second. That's cool.
The end of last season, yeah, when I first started doing the show, Lee was always a bit negative. And I was like, oh, is this what he's like? And you were like, no, usually at the start of the season, he's like, so now I get it. Now I understand what you mean, yeah. This is what Lee's usually like. It's just the end of last season, I got it differently.
Yeah. So I'm getting a tiny little bit of an echo. I don't know if you lot can hear it. Is everyone's all right? Or can everyone else hear a tiny?
I can hear the echo.
Yeah. No, I can't hear nothing.
Yeah, I think it might be Daps when Daps talks. I'm not sure how that's possible, but
with headphones.
I think it might be. But yeah, no, the optimism is there. I mean, you know what? This is an amazing turnaround because, like, you know what? Our transfers, literally. The best thing about football. I feel like we actually enjoy transfers more than we actually enjoy the football because it's like a transfer gives the whole club rejuvenation more than a win, more than anything. It's like Lewis 2-3 weeks ago was on the floor. He was livid. Well, he was livid.
I'm still a bit pissed. We ain't got a striker in, but we have a competent forward now for the first time in years, so I could cry. Personally.
I mean, I've actually just noticed that the DP. Oh my days!
I'm sure there's receipts on Lewis calling Sterling something or other.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong; it'll be sensational to have the first Jamaican to win a Ballon d'Or. But bloody hell, I mean, is Raheem gonna be the one to do it? I mean, come on, are we? You know, Daps, you can talk about this the most because he's your player for the last 6. Is it 6 years?
6 years. Yeah, 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah, that is a.
Can you hear me right now? Yeah.
Yeah. That's better. Yeah. Talk to me about Sterling. Is it a good move for him? Is it a good move for Chelsea, bro?
Right. So through the transfer window, when we first start getting told about this, I was like, it's not making any sense. I don't get it. It don't make sense. In fact, at that point, I was saying it makes sense to Man City to sell a player with a year left on his contract and get good money for it. And also, if we're selling players and it's not rumoured that he wants to leave, like Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres, That's different. This is a player that's not really being rumoured as wanting to leave. For us to sell him, it must be because Pep's now like, right, you're not a big part of my plans moving forward. I didn't get it from Raheem's point of view because I was thinking a player that's guaranteed a place on the flight for the World Cup anyway, because we know how Southgate is. A player that's on 300 grand a week, a player that in a year's time can leave on a free contract. I was thinking it doesn't really make sense for Raheem unless Chelsea are offering him more money. And to Chelsea, I was thinking it's totally not making sense unless, because at that point they weren't being rumoured with no striker. Now I kind of can make sense of it from a Sterling point of view because I believe he's been offered a 5-year contract.
Yeah, the increase is like 10k extra, so it doesn't make that.
But more so, it's the fact that it's 5 years, and maybe City weren't on giving him 5 years. Also, the fact that by the looks of things, they're building a squad that can challenge again. Maybe not this season, maybe next season, but they are building a squad again. And then it's like, okay, yeah, if they get, I think Tuchel must have sold in the project or whatever. It does make sense. For me, the one at the moment that makes the least sense is with Chelsea. Because until they get a striker, they ain't getting the Sterling numbers. They're getting a 200 grand a week Sterling. The minute they get a striker, they can get a 300 grand a week Sterling. But the numbers don't lie. His numbers, like his goals per minute ratio and even assists per minute ratio, when he plays alongside, when he was playing alongside Aguero, that's 300 grand a week Sterling. The last 2 seasons, when he's been playing alongside a false 9, that's 200 grand a week Sterling. So for me, when I hear Lewandowski, that makes sense. If they don't get a striker, I don't believe it'll work with Havertz through the middle. For me,
neither do I.
So that's the key point of it. They get a striker, I get it. They don't get a striker. I'm not saying
even
without a bad player.
His numbers will still be better than everyone else that we have.
Very true. But all I'm saying is I'm talking literally I think someone asked me to rate it, and I said it's a 7 out of 10 signing. If you get a striker, it's a 9 out of 10 signing because like his numbers when he's playing alongside an actual number 9 are undeniable. They're like some of the best numbers in the world. Like it's undeniable. But he needs that striker to be making the runs, dragging defenders away, and Raheem will just find pockets of space everywhere and will just score. Like that's what he does. Yeah. Also, I do think as well, some other elements of his game are underrated as well, even down to his passing. And I've been thinking about this, right? Raheem Sterling, and I'm not talking no like 60-yard balls or nothing like that, but if you think of back when he used to link up with David Silva, little 1-2s with David Silva, you can't do that if you can't actually pass the ball. So he is better on the ball than people give him credit for.
People say Werner 2.0 is disrespect.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that Sterling is a good player. I would never say he's not a good player. I obviously hold animosity that I will never let go of. That's the nature of football. But he is a good player. But as I said in the group earlier to you lot today, I believe that his numbers are going to look brilliant. But I think if you watch the match, it will be very underwhelming, his actual gameplay and overall play. But what will happen is that he'll still get a goal, he'll still get a tap in, he'll still score a winning goal in an important game, and it will kind of mask a little bit that he is a little bit not good at the other stuff. That's just my opinion.
Sounds like someone else I know that plays for Liverpool.
But what's the other stuff?
Absolutely no idea who that is. So Lewis, would you say so, bro?
No, I mean, but like the other stuff that you say that's going to make him look bad on the eye. What do you mean in terms of that? Because
I think he will. I think his passing will frustrate. I think he'll miss chances that he shouldn't be missing. I think he'll get into space, but then not do what he should do with the ball when he's in that space. And I think that will happen just as much as the goals will. But because he'll get 5 goals in the first, say, 4 or 5 games, it'll be like, right, he started really well. He might go on a little drought, but then he'll hit about 4 or 5 goals again, or he'll score an important goal in an FA Cup game. And then it will kind of be a thing of like, he always masks what he's doing badly with doing something good. That's why I think Sterling is a very Marmite player. I don't think he's the type of player that is just like good all the time and just has the odd bad game. I actually think it's 50% poor game, 50% brilliant game. and then the numbers end up meaning you're not as bothered about the bad games. For Man City, I saw him have some terrible games, but you're like, did he get 24 goals this season? Raw. And you don't really care about the bad games because you got all those goals. That's, for me, that's Raheem Sterling, but I don't know if you lot agree or not.
Can I ask a question to Lewis?
Yeah, sure.
I was wondering, because you made a comment which I don't really understand how you're getting away with it. I mean, you said that you're not looking to challenge, but all I've heard is all of this time that you just needed your strikers because you hadn't had any strikers, and all of this time is you're waiting for Tuchel to get his attackers. So how come you're getting away with... Look, everyone's been saying that. You said that. You said, oh, like he hasn't had his strikers, he didn't get any strikers, he didn't get any attackers. That's what you've been saying, no?
Yeah, and I understand that, but
okay, so how are you getting away with saying that you're not challenging for the title when you have a 75 million pound attacker or in Havertz? You've got a 44 million pound. You've got a 44 million pound in player in Sterling. You've got the best English talent in Mason Mount. You've got the LeBron James of football in Pulisic, and you've got Ziyech as well. So can you explain to me? You've got now your defenders. You've got Koulibaly, who I like. You're getting apparently you're getting what's his name from PSG? Can't remember his name.
Kimpembe.
You're getting Kimpembe.
Let's not even try and hype Kimpembe.
Yeah. No. So if you're getting Kimpembe, yeah. So can you explain to me? And you've obviously got a World Cup winner in Kante. So can you explain? Oh, sorry. And you've got the third. You've got the third best player in the world in Kovic. You've got Jorginho. Can you explain to me how you're not going to be challenging for the title? I just need answers. And again, please don't shoot the
Man City are a better football team than us.
But you've got the best manager and you've got the best players. You're saying to me, you only needed a striker to challenge.
We have the best manager, not necessarily the best players. And even then, the best manager can be debated. You could have.
Okay, but
I mean, 50 will definitely debate it.
But you said,
Lewis is the only one in his panel that thinks Tuchel is the best manager in the world.
No. He's up there with Pep and Klopp. We could have the debate on that. I think that's a fair argument to have.
Okay, but Lewis, anyway,
I don't think it's disrespectful, to be honest. But yeah,
I do think
he won the Champions League a couple of years ago.
Lewis, you said that you're not even looking to challenge. So how can you say to me that you're not even looking to challenge if you've got all these players in? Can you just like give me an explanation for that?
Because you're the one hyping them, and also we got to take into account that we're either going to be in a situation where we get 6, 7, 8 players that we need to strengthen our squad, and then you need to bed them into the squad, or you get 2 and 3 players in, and then you don't have enough depth that we're still complaining about. We lost 2 of our 3 best centre backs last season. We have 2 midfielders at the age of 31 with 1-year contracts that we don't know whether they're extending or not. And if they don't, then we need to sell them and we need to get replacements in. Our attack is shit. I've always said our attack is shit. Raheem Sterling walks in and is like a diamond on a shit show. So like it's not really going to change too much right now. Our left wing back is Ben Chilwell, who's still coming back from a knee injury, and Marcus Alonso. No, he's gone, thank the Lord. But we're still going to have Emerson, who I don't rate in general. And we don't have any right wing back depth right now. There's no depth in the squad. The players that we have right now are still not necessarily good enough. Koulibaly comes in and is a great strengthener to the squad, but we still need more. Sterling is good. We still need more. So, of course, we're not contending. No chance. And if we get everything we need, then we have
this happens every year,
though.
Like that Lampard year, a couple summers ago, it was you made like 7 signings, and it was like you should win the league, and then it's all of a sudden they're not good enough or not available. Made a huge signing last year in Lukaku. 2020
window, then not good enough. About a lot of signings, 100% we did. But that's why I'm trying to be more reasonable with this. Sterling's already our best forward. He ain't going to cook unless there's a number 9. So we need another signing on top. Koulibaly's great, but we still need 2 more centre-backs. And we still need wing-back depth.
So what?
Does anyone believe that Koulibaly is still Koulibaly? And this isn't me.
Koulibaly's a risk. Koulibaly's a risk. He's a risk, man. He's a risk.
In what sense?
For me, if you buy any, like when we bought Diaz from another league, it's a risk. When you buy centre-back from another league, it's a risk. That I honestly believe that it's a risk.
But why?
And I can't like Liverpool tore him a new one as well.
I mean, maybe that's just me. The fact that if I look at the centre backs we've brought aboard, they've been hit and miss, and I think that generally would go with most clubs with centre backs. They can be hit and miss. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. He's a very good centre back, but I feel in the centre back position in particular, I would always prefer Premier League experience. Always.
If you're still playing the back three though, he'll be fine. I think.
Yeah.
If he's playing central in the back three,
and he's
you won't
playing
have any issues.
alongside.
It's like
Even
Silver.
in the
Silver
four, like
37
his
still
reading
banging
of
it
the
in the
game is
back three.
impeccable.
No,
I'm really not
think,
worried about Koulibaly.
I think he's going to be. I think he's a very good centre back, but I think it's fair to level at him that he has had some very shaky moments. But I do look. I'm not going to sit here and be shady. I do think he's a very good centre back, and I think he's going to do well for the next 2 seasons or so. But I do think he has moments. He reminds me of a much better version of Davinson Sanchez. A much better than
much better version.
Yeah, he does. Like he's got that donkey gene in him, but he's still a good player. He's a very good player.
Yeah. I know. For Senegal, he's brilliant. He's brilliant for Senegal. I think that sometimes a player can go stale though, and that's the only thing that worries me about him is that for the last 2 years he should have moved. 1920. I think that was the year that Koulibaly should have got the move to a bigger club. And the last 2 years, I feel like he's stagnated a little bit, and you can go a little bit stale as a footballer if you don't move when you need to. So he might be able to rejuvenate his career and come back to the top. Talent-wise, he's amazing, but yeah, I'd be a little bit worried if I was a Chelsea fan that he might have gone too far the wrong way, but we'll see in it.
That ticket's just reminded me as well. I don't think Ake's going to be it, to be honest with you. I feel like just because of Chelsea's track record of players being at them and bringing them back, it's not clearly worked out. I don't know.
No,
I feel like
correct me if I'm wrong. Nathan Ake, Dap saying here, I was going to ask about Ake, but from what I hear from a lot of City fans, they don't even want to get rid of him.
He's a great fourth choice.
It'd be great. Yeah, he's great cover for them. But I don't think Ake is anywhere near the level to be like.
Can I just say something, Lewis? Though
Champions League centre back.
Okay. What I will say, Liverpool don't want to get rid of Milner. So I mean, just because clubs don't want to get rid of certain players, don't mean they're not washed.
Yeah, but like Ake ain't 36.
Yeah, we'll get to your subtle shade in a minute, Lee.
And even then, Silver's 38.
Like I entered just in time to deal with my man again.
Yeah, Go, Lewis. What was he gonna say, bro?
I was gonna say he's just not. We're acting like Ake's a 36-year-old. He ain't no 36-year-old. The guy's 28, will slot into a back three seamlessly and be a great addition to the squad. I don't even care if he warms City's bench. Half the City's bench walks into our team. So like,
is Ake 28 now, bro.
Is he
28 and he doesn't play first team football.
No, that's mad. I thought he was young.
I didn't. You sure Ake's 28 now? Is he actually 28?
I thought he was a bit
still?
younger than that. I don't know.
I thought you sure. Let me double check people. I don't think Ake's 28.
But you know,
I could be wrong.
you know what? Obviously, we. Yeah. That is better. That's much better. Yeah.
He's 27. Yeah, he's got the Lingard gene.
Yeah, he's 27. He turns 28 next year. Sorry, Jeff. He turns 28 next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, we could circle back to the Chelsea thing in a little bit. Like, we've definitely got a little bit more to talk about. But I do want to move on to Man United while we've got Aaron, because you're going to win the league, right? 4-0. Brilliant result for you boys yesterday.
Nah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, man. The scoreline was obviously nice. The scoreline was nice to see. But ultimately, it's about the fitness levels. I was more concerned about, are the players going to be stubborn and not implement or not follow Ten Hag's style of play, or are they actually going to listen for once? And they did listen. So I was happy to see that. I was happy to see certain things. Obviously, there's a lot to improve on, but from what I've seen yesterday, I was happy with that. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. And the trophy actually looked ugly. Let me be honest with that. It was like a trophy in a stadium with 2 fans at the side, and I was like, "What is this?" Like,
George, I didn't even know.
Sorry, George looks George is thinking, "Don't disrespect a trophy like this." Okay,
listen, you lot shout on the Audi Cup for years, and all I'm seeing is this Thai Continental Cup, whatever it's called, is like the next best thing. Oh,
yeah,
man.
like. But no, I was.
Maybe
I was
you two
happy.
could play it out in like a community shield soon, like over it.
our car cup versus their gaming trophy or whatever.
I totally forgot about this one just quickly. Joe LFC, Sterling can finally win the Champions League now. We'll bring that back round. We'll bring that back round again when we get back onto Man City.
But overall, I was happy to see what I saw yesterday from Man United. I do get why. Obviously, I knew and I understood why Ten Hag wants Frankie de Jong. That whole saga's annoying me as well. But I understood it even more yesterday because there's nobody in that midfield apart from Fred in the first half a couple of times, and what's his name, Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal a couple of times in the second half, who really is going to, because when we play that from the back, and then you see the two centre backs stretch out the pitch, and somebody has to drop in and come and pick up that ball, and nobody did that really in the first half. McTominay here and there, and then in the second half, like I said, Zidane Iqbal and Charlie Savage did it a couple of times, but not really that much. So yeah, I get why he wants Frenkie de Jong, but like I said, that whole saga is never coming to an end. I feel like, but I think it's a question of time. I think it will happen. It might happen towards the end of the window because Frenkie de Jong wants his P's. He wants Barcelona to pay him. Apparently, they owe him like 17 mil, which I don't understand how that happened. But yeah, let's just wait and see, man. I'm just happy, to be very honest, that Ronaldo's not on this tour, because that in itself is a whole different issue as well. I feel like with this whole Ronaldo issue, he's brought the attention all to himself. This guy knew that we weren't going to play Champions League from the end of the season. He knew it. He could have announced his departure then, or he could have talked to the board and said, listen, I want out. Let me go, terminate my contract, whatever it is. He could have said it then. But he decided to wait and, announce it on the 2nd of July, made it all about himself. And this is not me slating Ronaldo. I respect him as a footballer. But sometimes as a person, yeah, it's just not it. So, I'm happy that he's not on the tour and that Ten Hag is able to focus on the team and implement the style of play, train with the players, coach the team properly. And yeah, that's what I'm happy about at the moment.
You know what's mad, bro? And this is what people always used to think when I used to talk about Ronaldo. I've never doubted the man's ability. It's impossible to doubt how good he is, because otherwise you just don't really like football. But I always said it was the personality I didn't like. I didn't like that I would physically see him not even celebrate if he wasn't involved in the goal. I just used to watch how much he would make it about him. And you're right, bro. He's trying to make this summer about him when it's clearly about Man United trying to get back to great ways with a new manager. And he's trying to make it about him because he's always got to be the center of attention. And it gets ridiculous to a point. Do you know what I mean?
There's been a bit of a debate on social media. Obviously, certain people having the opinion that I have, but others saying, listen, how can you say this about Ronaldo? He scored 18 league goals. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But that's a personal accolade. That's for him. That's just to boost up his ego and say, listen, I came back to Man United at 37 years of age and I banged 18 goals in the Premier League. That's for him. That's not for us. That's not for the team, bro. Like the team, where do we go with those 18 goals? We haven't won anything. We haven't made top 4. We haven't qualified for the Champions League. So where do these 18 goals bring us? Nowhere. So I totally agree, bro. And I think there's a large part of Manchester United fans that still think till this day that Ronaldo actually cares about the club. Certain people actually think that he wants to leave Man United because he wants to expose the Glazers because of our lack of transfer activity. Bullshit. Excuse my French. Like, the guy cares about himself. He makes it all about himself. Just remember, he wouldn't have come back to Man United if we didn't qualify for the Champions League last season. He wouldn't have come in the first place. And we're talking about someone who, he was at Juve, and then all of a sudden, he decides not to turn up to training. And he left. He announced his departure from Juve before he knew he was even coming back to Man United, bro. Do you know how crazy that is? Like, that's mad. He just said, listen, I'm not coming to training. And he didn't even know where he was going. And obviously he put out Oli went out in the press conference and sadly announced that, if Ronaldo wants to come back to England, he knows we're here. And that obviously accelerated everything. And we signed him within the next 48 hours or something. So yeah, no, listen, I think for the betterment of the team, the club, and for himself, it's better if he leaves.
Matt, I'll come to you. Lee, I'll come to you. Matt, go first. You wanted to go.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is this, with Ronaldo, I understand where I was coming from because Ronaldo is a powerful person, isn't he? He attracts all the attention in the world. And I think this whole stunt of him not wanting to go on tour is all about him. And the thing is that for a United fan, that must be frustrating because you've got a new manager in, he's just started and he's trying to work something out. And you've got your star player doing a whole heap of madness. Here's the thing, like what Aaron said, Ronaldo knew what he was buying into. Like, he knew the Man United that he was going to. This weren't the same Man United under Ferguson. It's like only now it's clicked, like, oh no, things aren't what I thought they were gonna be. Like, bro, you decided to join Man United when my man was there. Like now things have changed. Really and truly, you should buy into it. And this is where I do think this is where Man United kind of, in my opinion, have to kind of show it's Man United over Ronaldo, not Ronaldo over Man United. They should be saying to him, listen, you have a contract. Unless we can sort something out and we can find you to go elsewhere, you best turn up to training. Because at the end of the day, we pay your wages. Yes, we understand you are Ronaldo, you are CR7, but at the end of the day, Man United are bigger than Ronaldo. In fact, the club is always bigger than the player. And I think as well, you got players that are coming through, yeah? Bro, for some of them, that's their idol. Like, at least like show some respect to the players that you share the dressing room with, innit? You can go about leaving a certain way. And I was going to say Lewandowski, but Lewandowski probably is not a great example because he's come out and spoke about Bayern Munich, but I think that's gotten a bit stale. But I just think he could go about it a bit differently. And I think Man United are doing the right thing. They're kind of just like, well, Ronaldo's not with us, and they're not saying that much other than that. And I hope they kind of deal with him internally because if you're a United fan, bro, you're trying something brand new. You got a new ethos, new methods that you have with Ten Hag, and you've got one of the old guards throwing up a stink and making it about him. And you got other players that are trying to make, like, this is a big season for Rashford, you know. This is a big season for Jadon Sancho. That these players need to just focus on what they need to do and not have is Ronaldo going to leave us? Like, that's why I feel like, Raj, you know what? I really hope Man United deal with him, fam. Can't lie.
And it's a big season. You said Rashford. It's a big season for Martial as well. Massive season for
especially
Martial.
him. Especially him,
bro.
If Ronaldo doesn't play, and United don't buy no striker, then ultimately it's Rashford and Martial, right? And the fact that Martial has now gone, so Martial's been here, Aaron, correct me, what is it, 7 years?
Since 2014, yeah.
Right.
Raw.
And there's always been this, and he's had, look, if I'm being honest, he's had a couple of good seasons and a few very average seasons, 1 or 2 poor seasons. But there's always been, until last season, but that could be because United haven't had a coach or it's the way things are at United. Last season, he went out on loan and had a stinker. So it's now a case of there's no blaming no one else, Martial. You've got a coach now as well, Martial. You need to knuckle down and prove, especially when it's World Cup year, and at the moment, he probably isn't going to be on that plane. This is a huge, and let's be honest, now Cavani's gone, and if Ronaldo was to go, the most clinical player by far and away in that team is Tony. So this could be his moment, but Ronaldo the Ronaldo thing has to be dealt with. Dealt with.
Fully agree, bro. Fully agree.
I think if you ask the Man United players, they would actually say, yeah, Ronaldo, just go. They'll never admit it in public, but I reckon if you ask them, they'll be like, yeah, we want Ronaldo.
The thing is, Drift, just quickly, one last thing as well. Sorry, Lee, I know you want to speak about it as well. Just quickly as well. Ronaldo, I'm sure, bro, they appreciate Ronaldo, innit? They know he's still a quality player. But I think it's got to a point where it's like, yeah, bro, like we know who you are and what you've done, but now it's our time. You know, it's one of them ones where it's like, when you're like, it's like in Star Wars, innit? Yoda knew when it was time to pass the lightsaber to Luke and them, man, innit? Like, he knew what time it was. Yoda couldn't do the thing forever. And don't get me wrong, Ronaldo is one of the greatest players of all time. The man's 37, and like what Aaron said, from a personal perspective, scored 18 goals. That is impressive. I'm trying to remember how much Zlatan scored, but I think Zlatan was slightly younger, if I'm not mistaken, when he came to Man United. So that just goes to show you what he can still do. But, bro, there comes a time where you have to pass the baton. Like, show man, this is what you need to do in it. And I just don't think he's doing that. And I think it's clear for me and everybody else to see, he wants a move, bro. And I think he's probably going to get it as well.
Do you know what, Zlatan, though? I feel like Zlatan actually did more for the team.
Yeah, he did. That won them trophies, bro.
100.
What was it, 2015-16 season, Aaron? Was it 15-16 season?
And even
I think he was 36.
Sorry. 16-17, he came.
Was it 16-17? Yeah, okay.
16-17, he came. I think he came the same season that we got
Pogba. Yeah, it was.
That man had a good link up, bro. That man had a good link up.
Like, trust me. But you know what that was? That was one of the best things Mourinho ever did, because that was basically control of the dressing room just by having Zlatan there. No one's speaking up. No one.
Yeah.
Everyone's
And you can even see the way even Pogba looked at him as well. The way Pogba looked at him, he was like, no. But do you know what it is as well? I also feel like Pogba kind of knew Zlatan was the only person that could talk to him in terms of like just as a football man, what you can do. I think he looked up to him and thought, I can't talk to Zlatan. Zlatan's like the godfather. I can't chat to man.
But I think
Like, whereas others, yeah.
With Zlatan as well, I always got this impression that like he would be the type that could almost bring back that Fergie vibe as far as say Man United were like 1-0 down and it was the 80th minute. I can imagine Zlatan would be looking at the younger players and saying, like Rashford at the time, for example, and saying, why is your head down? I'm Zlatan. You're Marcus Rashford. Head up. We're going to win this. Like, whereas Ronaldo, I think Ronaldo would more be like, no, give me the ball and I'm going to win this. Not
Because
he wants the glory.
Yeah.
Like he does. He wants the glory. But Lee, quickly, you was going to say something about it, bro. Go on, bro.
You know what? I know Aaron's on a high right now. He's feeling good. He's smiling. But look, I need to bring you back to reality a little bit because a year ago today, I saw a little Twitch, I saw a little Twitch stream, and certain man, I'm not saying no names, but it might be a certain man in that top right corner was celebrating Ronaldo. You were celebrating Ronaldo coming to the league and coming to your team. So I just want to know, what kind of fan are you going to be this season? Because it sounds like you're calling him out and you're saying you don't want him no more. You don't want him in the team no more. So I want to know, what kind of fan are you going to be? And if he stays, Aaron, what are you saying? Because it sounds like you already put your cards in the middle of the table to say he's a GOAT, but he now needs to go. So if you're saying that and he stays, because it sounds like you're talking at both sides of your mouth right now, and that's unfortunate, but you can't do that in football, man. You can't do that. So what we saying, Aaron? What we saying? What kind of fan are you gonna be?
You know, like last year when he came back, yes, I was celebrating, but a part of me was a bit skeptical because I didn't know whether this Ronaldo return project was going to work like fully. I was happy, but one thing I didn't say was that we were going to win XYZ because I knew it was going to be hard with Liverpool and City ahead of us. That was going to be very, very tough. And yes, because people were saying that he outscored Lukaku in Serie A and stuff. Yes, he did, but it's the Italian league, with all due respect. The Premier League's different. So even though he did score 18 league goals, I knew it was going to be tough from the beginning, even though I was happy that he was back. And I was happy because I'd never seen Ronaldo play. So I was like, yo, fam, I live 45 minutes away from Old Trafford. I can go see Ronaldo now. Do you know what I mean? Like I was gassed. So that was in terms of Ronaldo. This season, I'm just going to give Ten Hag as much time as possible. It's his first year. I'm not going to have too many expectations. My expectations are not going to be too crazy. I just want him to work with the team for as long as possible and take his time. And I want fans to give him time as well, because I know United fans can be quite demanding. If we lose one game, they're going to be like, yeah, it's the end of the world. We want him out, etc., etc. So I'm going to give him time. If we lose games, that's fine. If we draw games, that's fine. I just want the team to improve, and I want him to build his squad over the next, 2, 3, 4 years.
Great answer. Yeah. Great answer. That answer your question, Lee?
Before we move on, before I let you lot go, I actually watched that game yesterday, and it was only one game against Liverpool, who are very under strength and obviously playing those things. I saw an improvement already. It's kind of irrelevant what happens during the season at this point. I watched a better Man United, more organized, more determined Man United in that game yesterday than I've seen for about 18 months. So it already looks better, bro, regardless of what actually happened, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Especially considering he's only really had a week.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know what you said. I haven't seen the whole thing, Drift, but like from what I saw, like you said, the first thing I realized, organization. There was organization, like there was a plan when they were pressing. Bro, it wasn't Bruno Fernandes pressing the ball and looking around to see if anyone's going to join him. It was not, Aaron will remember that better than any of us. Bruno Fernandes does this press, looks around and says, are you guys going to join me? Like he's Captain America. Like, bro, this ain't the Avengers, bro. You know what I mean? But this time it was Jadon Sancho and Rashford pressing together. Then you had flipping McTominay as well. Bro, I'm not going to lie, it was all in sync. Can't even lie, bro.
And I'll give you, but it looks pretty.
Do we have to put a little bit of Liverpool tax on that? Because you were paying the new Liverpool, so we don't know what they're going to be either this season.
Well, like I said, it's going to be Man United versus Arsenal trying to win the league. Man City's on a rebuild. Liverpool's on a rebuild. Jesus is going to bank 82 goals. Yeah, but it's going to be
United Arsenal title race. I would rather die.
Go and talk to the Twitter people. Go and talk to the Twitter sphere. It's gonna be Arsenal and Man United doing up Champions League and all of that.
Lee, just quickly. How many goals is Jesus scoring in the Premier League? How many goals is Jesus scoring in the Prem?
Easy. Listen, we're not getting on to Arsenal right now. We're
easy 20.
You just drew for Liverpool. You just drew for Liverpool right now.
I swear I just heard you say 20.
He said easy 20. That means he's looking at 25, 30 then.
No, he said easy 20 and backtrack real quick.
I was going to say 20.
No, we're not on Arsenal. We're not on Arsenal.
We'll save it for when we get there. For real, we'll save it.
We'll save it. I'll jump the gun. Apologies.
But you know what? Before you jet off, Lewis, just quickly back to the whole Chelsea thing. Yeah. Do you truly believe, that with the situation as it is, where you are investing and you're bringing in all these players and you're doing the most at the moment in the transfer window, do you believe that your manager, so your owner, is doing this to make an impression because he's new? Or do you think that he will continue? Like, is this a one-off? You know, like when a rich man comes in and he shows off at first, so you know he's rich, but then he realizes it's stupid if he continues to do it, so he pulls back a bit. Do you think he's just doing that because he's just come in and then he'll pull back? Or do you think that he will continue to do this and you will be kind of how you were? You always just solved every problem with money.
Yes and no, because like we've mainly been trying to operate on a one in and one out policy, and it looks like we're free spending because like we're going for all these centre backs, but the reason why we're replacing them is because 2 of them went out on a free. So I get it, but that's why I don't think it's going to be a case of free spending. I think whoever comes in, someone is coming out for that to happen. And then other than that, like I feel like we're going to be relying on Cobham a little bit more than we've done previously, which is always going to be a positive from a Chelsea perspective. Like it's less money that you have to spend, and also everyone prefers to find their gems, but it's never really going to be like Roman again. That's fine. That's fine. Like we were spoilt by Roman Abramovich for a long period. Like it's fine if we're going to have to now sell to buy and all of that. But we also have Cobham, and we use Cobham so we can also buy players as well. Add that and like TV deals and transfer money and all sorts. Like not all of the money necessarily came from Roman, especially towards the end of his reign. So I wouldn't expect Bowley to dig into his pocket like Roman did, but I don't think it's going to be necessary from him either.
Just go and get a Coutinho and everything's fine. You got enough money for like 8 years. It's fine, bro. Honestly.
The subtle shade is outstanding.
I missed you all, man. I missed you all.
We love it. We love it. But yeah, just quickly as well, because I know you got a bounce with Lewis does. After watching that first week, after seeing how Ten Hag is on it, like he clearly is, like he didn't even smile once yesterday. I can't lie. It's Rafa Benitez vibes where I'm like, bro, just be happy a little bit, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, how are you feeling so far about the whole situation with Ten Hag and
I was expecting him to be a bit like that because you know, like the Dutch are not really to be fair, Dutch people are nice, but he's so obsessed with football that. Yeah, I was expecting him not to smile and stuff. Even when he was holding the trophy, you could see his face. Like, man didn't care, basically. Like, he was like, yeah, whatever. Just move on. Get me out of it, please. So I kind of expected him to be that. But you can tell he's someone who really cares about the game. He cares about football, and he wants to talk about nothing but football. Even when you watch his press conferences, the man just wants to talk about football. Anything else, it's just complete nonsense to him. So I like the fact that there's someone there for the first time since probably Mourinho or Van Gaal who actually just cares about the football. He leads the training sessions. He's proactive. There was a clip that I seen where they were training at the stadium and I think there was a mistake in the drill and he literally stopped the whole exercise to come and explain to the player what he done wrong. And I was like, raw, I ain't seen that in a while, bro. Like our last permanent manager, I'm not going to say no names, had us chipping balls into bins, fam. Like we come a long way. You know what I mean? We've come a very warm-up. We've come a very long way. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing so far from Ten Hag. And I hope he can keep it up for the whole season. And yeah, man, let's see what we do this season, man.
Yeah, nah, I hear that, man. Let me just get through a couple of these supers before we move on. Big Six Banks in the building. Big up yourselves, guys. I don't know if that's months, but yeah, big up. Make sure you go and subscribe to these guys as well. Panel is serious. Stay locked in and run up the likes. Yes, people, please make sure you hit those likes. MC's ask. This is something. Actually, I'm gonna save that one. And I wanted to touch on this one quickly as well. Ronaldo's 37. He wants to play Champions League. United should let him go. In my honest opinion, at 37 years old, no matter how good your career's been, you don't deserve anything. I think that's the point of your career where you should actually start being grateful for whatever you get rather than expecting or demanding. You could be Maradona. I don't care who you are. 37 is old in football. It is. In fact, he's lucky clubs still even want him at 37. There's a lot of clubs that would never pay 500 grand a week for a 37-year-old. In fact, I think Man United might possibly be the only club, which is why I don't know where he's going to go. Where
rejected him. Chelsea rejected him.
We're literally
Chelsea rejected him already.
Yeah, Tuchel ain't interested.
You're spot on, Drift. Like, what team wants him? Because Tuchel doesn't want him. Chelsea don't want him. Bayern Munich, Oliver Kahn clearly came out in an interview and said, listen, I respect Ronaldo, but he doesn't fit into our philosophy. I said, bro, you know what? I respect that. I respect Oliver Kahn for coming out and saying stuff like that.
He came out and said that mad quick, didn't he, as well? Yeah, I'll see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he was like, nah, I respect him, but he doesn't fit in our philosophy. And he's probably talking about the money when he says that, because there's no way in hell, even a club like Bayern Munich will pay 500 grand plus to Cristiano Ronaldo at 37 years of age.
All I heard was Napoli.
Sorry?
Napoli?
Yeah, I heard
Napoli. That's the only club I've heard.
Napoli.
I haven't said no yet.
If they
Napoli-
sell,
They can't afford
Napoli were,
500 grand a
Bosnian,
week.
I don't know.
Napoli's
don't
name
know
was
if they
put there
actually-
in there from the beginning.
I don't know if they actually can.
It was
afford him, but
Napoli,
I know that-
Bayern, Chelsea, PSG that were interested. And everyone except Napoli said they're not interested.
I think De Laurentiis, the Napoli chairman, he might try and, cuff up a little. You know what I'm saying? Those Italians know how to cuff up money. Like, he might
I
try
also
and
don't
Trying to bring back Maradona or
Payment in
something.
crypto and
You
that.
guys are. I'll shout you lot next week. Take care.
Yeah, big up,
Take
Lewis.
care,
Big
bro.
up,
Big
big up.
up.
Because PSG are paying Messi in crypto, so maybe Napoli would.
Wait. It's actually true.
Yeah, remember, Matt, when we had the Parisian Londoner run, and he said some of Messi's pay is actually
one of
in
the
crypto.
PSG.
God, that'd be worth nothing right now.
Fans are telling us, about how they're paying them in crypto, bro. Bruv, I
What
swear
is
that
worth zilch?
in crypto, bro. Them man are getting different. Them man on some different
It's
currency,
the
bro.
lowest it's been for a long time as well. So they're getting nothing
Wait, so,
right now.
so they got what? So you telling me they got Messi doing trading in that? Like, what's going on?
But what Aaron said there was a good point about what all of you were saying about the age of him, and like no one deserves, no one owes him anything. Yeah, is like with Aguero. I had one or two City fans when we got rid of him, kind of, I don't even want to say got rid of him, but when we let him leave on a free, one or two saying, "Oh, we should have kept him for a year longer or whatever else." It's like, look, he'd had almost a whole season and maybe played a maximum of 10 games, absolute maximum. He's one of our highest paid players, and ultimately, even once he went, I know what happened wasn't good, but let's remember he started the season for Barcelona injured, right? Not with his heart condition. He started the season injured. He'd spent most of the previous season injured, and sometimes, and this is what City do with most of their older players, is that it gets to a point where, and I even do think it's a case of how much they want, and it's like I believe City did offer Aguero a certain package, but it was more of a pay-to-play type package, because it's like, well, look, we can't be paying you 250 grand a week to like not play. And sometimes, I know it's sad, but unfortunately, you can't. If you keep your legends, you're not going to move on as a football club. That's why I think Liverpool with Mane. I think Liverpool with Mane, they got everything they could have out of Mane, and it was like, I don't really.
I think we could have 100% got Bale back this year or whatever if we really wanted to, but it's the same sort of thing. It's like it's too much money for a massive injury risk to stick a punt on it. It's just not worth it at the end of the day.
Well, look where he's gone. That should tell you you did the right thing.
The fact it was between Cardiff and
the Bale
LAFC
one-
is like
The Bale was
Bale-
a little bit different though, George. Because what I will say is, if he was still as fit as Ronaldo, I think there would have been teams clambering for Bale.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
it's
bro.
literally the injury issues with
Bro,
Bale.
I swear
It
Bale's
really
only
is.
30. Bale only
He's only
31 or
33.
32.
No, he's
Or 32.
33.
Is he
He's
32?
where he's gone, though. It tells
33,
you
but that's
all.
not that old, is it?
It tells you all with where he's gone that like you've dodged a bullet there. Because if a player like basically with Tottenham under Conte, right, and you're being linked with him, and then he's gone, "No, it's all right. I'm going to go and play in America." Like, come on, man. You can't really take him and his. Apart from Wales, does he even want to play football anymore? Honestly, I don't think he does really. He's really not.
I fully hear you in the Bell thing. The only thing I will slightly differ from you though is the Mane thing. So even though I think you're right in terms of you can't hold on to legends too long because at some point you need to move on. With the Mane thing, like Mane, I think Mane's just turned 30. Just turned 30, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I still feel like personally we could have got at least another 3 years out of him, and then you let him go. Because bro, here's the thing. Let's be real. Sadio Mane, would he be in your lots like say top 5 forwards in the Premier League?
What?
This is
no, but
you say?
Here's the thing. Yeah, potentially. I thought you were just saying City. I was saying 100% in City's top like front. Yeah,
I'm saying
in
general. Yeah.
My thing with Mane is before you even won the league, like when you'd won the Champions League, I was already saying the minute you win, and then it was probably halfway through the season where we already knew you were going to win the league. I was like, watch. He's going to want some big boy money, or he's going to want to go because it's like he'd won pretty much everything he can in the Premier League, and now it's like you pay me what I want, or I'm going to go to another league and win it. And I just always felt like with Mane, you got the best you could have out of him, and it was going to be in. Last season, I mean, I know some people say last season he kind of ended up playing well through the middle. I still don't think that was the best Mane. I think to see the best Mane, you're going back at least 2 years for me.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was the
players just like very quick. I just think some players just want a challenge in somewhere else. Like, not every player is going to be at a club for 10 years and like become like a long-term legend. Like, it's just there are just players that are just different like that. And I feel like Mane probably is one of those. He's like, all right, like you said, he's done everything with Liverpool now, Champions League, Premier League, whatever, FA Cup, whatever. So he's like, you know what? I'm 30 now. It's not old, but it's like I'm 30 now. Let me just try something different for the next few years.
Actually, on that point, really quickly, just going back to yesterday, the game you guys had yesterday, I said this on another stream. Can I just give a massive salute to Mo Salah for playing, right? Because I think that shows how much that guy just wants to play football, because like I've seen City tours in the past, I'll be honest, where like certain players are just like, you don't need to come on this tour or like show your face or whatever. But the fact that he was on there playing and still like cooking, I just thought, you know what, that shows how much this guy, because if he would have said, you know what, I want an extra week, I've signed the thing, I just want an extra week off with my family.
That's true, you know.
That would have been and it's not like he needs to prove to the manager his fitness, because we all know his fitness. It's not like he needs to prove anything whatsoever, right? He did not need to be there and play, but the fact that he chose to be there and play, I think, like that was one of my positives for Liverpool, is the fact that you've got a guy, that signed the contract, and everyone says I bet you guys have been asked this already. Now he's signed the contract, are you worried that his form's going to dip? Right?
No, do you know what? I'm not even concerned.
I've heard people saying it. I don't believe it.
No,
but I've heard
do you know
people say it.
One thing I think about Salah that I've never questioned regarding his whole footballing career under Liverpool is his drive.
Yeah.
His drive is like the will to win every game, the will to win all the accolades. And sometimes I see your twin. Sometimes big up your twin. Sometimes it can be dangerous because people start thinking, oh, is it all about the personal accolades? Yeah. And it can be at times. But bro, Salah's got that will that like the greats have, like your Messis, your Ronaldos. Like, bro, for me, like he's in that category of that will to win. And like you said it, bro, my man could have asked for the extra week off, but he was like, no, Klopp, put me on the tour, man. Put me on the tour. Let me see if I can cook for a little bit still. You said, he signed a thing. Liverpool will probably had no issue if he said, I want an extra week and a half off. They would have been like, bro, do you know what? It's calm. You just play a little bit of catch up. You signed it. We're happy with you. It's all good. But Salah, bro, remember he spoke about wanting to win the Ballon d'Or. He feels like he can win it, bro. For me, I'm glad he thinks that, because that drive will carry him on now to you know what I mean, to carry on to the.
Remember though, he don't need from a very selfish point of view, he ain't going to the World Cup.
No, he's not.
He doesn't need a little bit of an extra break. He's got a month off in the middle of the season.
I've spoken this. Him and Haaland have both got it off, haven't they? They can both.
Yeah, Haaland, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Them man, listen.
Remember, at Haaland's age though, he don't need time off. Salah is 30, so I think it's actually very important.
That's fine though. Kane can just win the World Cup, so it's cool.
Do you know what? Let's move on to Tottenham, George. You've been patiently. Actually, let me get through these two supers real quick, just in case they. Big up Chainsaw as always. Sports science changes what old means. Very true. And they've been doing that in Italy for a very long time. AC Milan have an actual facility for older players. So very, very true. Silent Lamb, big up. Tell Salah to not take revenge on Man United. What you mean when we play them?
The actual game.
In the Salah will want revenge. 100%.
Bro, you see the way Salah was looking at one point. Like, I think there was a free kick of him and Trent, and like you just Salah just like the eyes, bro. He was just like, "No, I know it's preseason, but no. We got to thump this man up at Old Trafford. You know, it's not a joke, Trent. Yeah. Trent's like, all right, lad, bro. I'm telling you, man's on it, bro. Salah's on it. You know already, he's on it.
But switching lane. And Lee will be happy he's back for this one. Spurs, you've been waiting patiently.
Lee's glitching though. Lee, if you can hear us, you're glitching though. You're moving.
Yeah, you are glitching a bit, bro.
Yeah. Your connection's moving a bit. Yeah.
So we're another 2 weeks into the project, George. Now you've secured another couple of players. I haven't really heard much from any Tottenham fans in terms of gas. I'll be honest. Even the cocky Tottenham fans. Yeah, no, I haven't really heard any. We're going to win the league or we're going to do any of that kind of. I haven't heard any of that.
Do you know why? We haven't seen them play yet. 4 out of the 5 of them didn't play today, so we can't it was only Richarlison that actually had games today through because Basuma and Forster got COVID while traveling out there. And Perisic and Kulusevski were left on the bench just as like a risk of injury, so they're going to play on the Saturday game. So we've only seen Richarlison so far.
Did they all travel out there together?
Yeah. So
the rest of your team's left then.
Yeah, there's a bit of a worry that it's going to spread. So
pre-season tours cancelled for Spurs. It's all a madness.
What was Richarlison saying? What was he saying, George? Richarlison, how did he look? Because I haven't seen the game or anything.
Yeah, he was alright.
You think? Don't you
go on?
Go on, Lee, bro.
Matt, don't you think Nunes should have done something more?
Lee's moving like Arsenal in the Martinez.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. You're fit, bro. You might have to come back out and come back in, bro.
You're moving, bro. Mad. Jump out and jump back in. Yeah, because your connections. We can't. You're breaking up bad, bro. Yeah.
Breaking up.
But to answer your question,
Richarlison. Yeah, sorry, bro. Richarlison. Yeah, what's he saying?
You know what? I think he had just a good first game. It was nothing outstanding, but what was really promising is that Conte played him for 70 minutes, and played him across every front three position. So we started off with we started off with a weaker front line. So he was the number 9 in the middle with Lucas and Bryan Hill either side. And then in the second half he brought on Son and Kane, and they kept on swapping around. So he started off on the left wing and then would swap over with Son and so on and so forth. So we got to see it in every position, and his first touch was immense and his strength was quality in the game. He just didn't really get too many chances to score. What I will say is with the own goal that they scored, he would have 100% buried. It was Kane winning the ball on right wing. So Kane moved up to right wing and Richarlison was up front, and Kane whipped in a perfect low cross, which would have been met by Richarlison was right at the back post about to tap it in, but the defender slid in and scored an own goal. So it was he sort of got there before him. So I think he did well, but it's too little to see right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you. Just quickly, do you see him? You see when everyone's fit. Where do you think he's an automatic star, or is he kind of?
No, I think Kulusevski gets ahead of him. Kulusevski was just far too good in that second half of this. Well, for when he joined to drop him out of the team for Richarlison. And I think as well, given his versatility, given his versatility,
Matt. I know what you're up to, Matt.
I'm asking questions, bro. I'm just asking questions.
I was just saying, given his
Yeah.
versatility, he's going to be back up to Kane and then playing left wing or right wing when either the others are injured or if we're rotating because of certain games in Champions League midweek or something, so we play him at the weekend. I don't know. So I think he's just a very, very good rotational player that we're going to have. I don't think he walked into it. But what I will say is, though, he has the mentality right now that he's going to compete with all three of them. And that's what I love. Like when he was like first speaking about moving, it wasn't just a case of, oh yeah, I'm just going to give what I can to the team. He was quite literally thinking, like, I'm going to compete with all of the front three to get into this team, which is, I think that's a great mentality to have. So hopefully that means when he does play, he's providing. And he's got that, like, I don't know, what's the word? He's got sort of that, like, that fight and that readiness to play in this sort of Conte team. So I think he's exciting. He's an exciting player to have.
What you think?
You two like hyenas. You're waiting, and I'm waiting. I'm there as well. Like,
no. I was just gonna say he's got that pussy. He's got that pussy old gene. But
I can't wait for him to play against you guys. It's gonna be so sick.
How much Richarlison? I hope we broke him up.
How much time did he spend on the floor, George, today?
Once.
Only once.
Only once. Right.
You know what, Pedo? All jokes aside, it actually might be like he realizes I'm not at Everton anymore. No jokes aside, he might feel I'm at a club now, innit? Remember?
I don't think Conte will have it, you know, all the rolling around and shit. I don't think he'll have it. He'll appreciate this, like winning the fouls and being smart and all this, that, and the other. But in terms of being on the floor for a good minute, he ain't having that anymore. that can't run.
Are you happy with the signing? Because I can't hide my bias from it.
I can't stand the guy.
Richarlison, like he is the biggest. Oh, so you are happy? You are happy with it?
Yeah, because with him and sorry, George. When a little something with him and you lot before, because you know what it is. I saw him and your Argentinian centre back, the Romero.
Yeah.
It's like that because did something happen last season?
Yeah, that was Argentinian, right?
Oh, was it Argentina?
No, Argentina and Brazil, they just don't get on.
So they.
I thought it was something to do with that something happened in the Prem. I know the Argentina and Brazil team, but I thought that something happened in the Prem.
It did in the towards the end of the season when we played them at home. Romero and Richarlison just had beef the whole game. Romero crunched him miles away from the ball.
Rightly so, bro. He's a pussy. Sorry, bro. I can't understand him. I don't like him, bro.
I hate him.
It's like his language. I just realised it. Yeah. But anyway, go on.
Sorry, before Lee goes, I'm going to go and put little one together. Let's get me back on, man. And listen, City-wise, we've sold a couple of players, we've bought a couple of players. Transfer window's not over yet, and that's all we need to say.
No, we'll still talk about City without you, bro. Trust me.
I'm fine. Thanks a lot. Oh, you talk away on us.
No, he's going to see the footage and he's going to be like, "No, I'm jumping back in, bro. No, they can't talk about my club when I'm not here, bro."
Kiana, wait a second. I need to go back. No, but listen, it's fine. You lot talk on the champions. It's fine. And I'll see you next week.
But I'm not even saying it with disrespectful. We'll touch it.
I hear you. I saw the way you were about Richarlison. It is what it is. I'll see you next week.
I know. Yeah. You lot ain't nothing like him. He's different sauce, Richarlison. Man. No, big up, though, bro. Big up.
Smash the like, people. Love, guys.
Big up.
Love as always, bro. Big up, bro. Big up, man.
Yeah. You know what? Obviously, go on, Lee. What you gonna say?
Yeah. I had a question, and it's not even a shameless thing. It's I was talking to a couple of my boys in a group chat, and we was talking about Richarlison. And look, I actually quite like this player. You know, I don't know why, but I feel like he can do some good stuff. Like, he's not a bad player at all. I know Liverpool and the connection with Everton, like, you're right to have your feelings towards him, but I actually quite like him. But I was saying that I believe that Jesus is a much, much better player, and he's quality-wise and as a striker. So my boy was trying to say that in terms of the ranking, you got your Claire. Let's say you got Kane, you got Haaland, and let's even put like a Salah in that position. I want to know who's in that next ranking, because he thinks that in that next ranking is a Richarlison with a Jesus, and maybe let's just throw in like a Dominic Calvert-Lewin with. But I don't think that I don't think that Richarlison is in that position. I think he's a tier below. But that's no shame, because I like Richarlison a lot. I think he's a good player, but I just don't feel like he's in that second tier of quality strikers in the Premier League. I feel like he's not in. And again, I know I always come at Spurs, but I feel like it's a great signing. I want to put it out. I feel like it's a good signing, but he's not in that tier below your Haalands and your Kanes, and he's not up there for me. So, what do you lot think?
Very, very, very quickly, give me some examples on who you think is in that second tier.
So I would say someone like a Jesus. I would even say, I know he had a poor season, but someone like what's his name? Dominic Calvert-Lewin is in that tier. I would say, do you know what? I would even say someone.
Would you put Jota in there, Lee? Jota, if you
someone like Jota.
Vardy's a shout, if you're thinking
Vardy. Yeah, so these are the kind of
Vardy.
second tier. But then below that is a Richarlison. But he believes that he's a Spurs fan as well. He believes that in that second tier is Richarlison. But I'm like, look, and he keeps going off this whole Brazil kind of where Richarlison starts in front of in start of Jesus. But I'm like, look, you can't go for internationals because look what Southgate does with Trent and all these other players. So let's not go on an international thing. But I just don't think that he's in that second tier. For me, he's not in that second tier, but he's a very good player for what he's going to do for Spurs.
But just sort of kind of that, and it's not me just saying it back as like Arsenal thing, whatever. I don't think Jesus is anywhere near that second tier either. And I've said it countless numbers of times. I think and it's so hard to compare because it's two completely different scenarios. You've got Richarlison, who was, and you speak to any Everton fan, he's like their best player by a country mile in an Everton team that was absolutely dog shit for the last, sorry for the language, but 2-3 years. And then you've got Jesus, who is obviously in a Man City super team and is naturally going to get chances and goals and stuff. Personally, when I've watched like Jesus play and stuff, I've seen this guy miss way too many simple chances. I don't think he's got that killer strike instinct, and I don't think Richarlison's necessarily there either. I'm not saying he's like Richarlison's leagues ahead or anything like that. I just don't think either of them are in that sort of second top tier. But what I do think is for the exact way that we're playing and how Conte wants to play and what we need as more depth in our forward lines, I feel Richarlison's the perfect player for us because he's got he's got strength. His first touch is good. He's got that sort of like rawness in him. He's just willing to fight every single game. And we don't necessarily need him to prop up these 15, 20 goals a season. So I think they're both in that sort of that I guess you can say that tier 3 category, in my opinion.
You know what's funny?
So you think they're both in the same tier, though? You think they're in the same tier?
Probably, but like that's what I'm saying. It's hard to compare. Like this is going to be great because you've got Jesus that's now going to be the main man in an Arsenal team, and Richarlison that's acting as more, I guess, like a rotational player at Spurs. It's going to be a lot easier to compare this season as to the two players. But I would say they're both in the same sort of category.
It's funny because Lee's gonna like this one. I actually think Jesus is twice the player Richarlison is, personally.
Really? Well, you're a lot biased, though.
No, but I do believe that Richarlison was a better signing for Tottenham, though. So I can actually flip it both ways. I think Jesus for Tottenham wouldn't work anywhere near as well as Richarlison would. I think it's horses for courses, and I do think you have to take things for what the individual team needs or what the scenario is. But if you're just talking about as a player with ability and all that kind of stuff, I think Jesus is way better than Richarlison. And I actually rate the fact that Arsenal went and got him. Because even that's only because of Arteta, which is actually ended up being a good thing for Arsenal, because I think any other manager and Jesus doesn't want to go there. I think it's only because he has a relationship with Arteta. But getting a player like that in Arsenal's position is amazing. I'm not going to be a hater. I know we like to banter Arsenal, but it's amazing. Jesus is actually Arsenal's best player. I don't know if any Arsenal fans agree with me, but I actually think you've gone to a level where they've signed a player who is now their best player. I think Jesus could play for any other top club, Barcelona, I think he could play for any of the big clubs. I actually rate Jesus that highly.
I personally don't think so. I think for me personally, I think for him in particular, there's a massive Man City tax when it comes to the sheer number of chances that's been given to him to be able to score. Like this is what I'm saying. I'm actually really intrigued to see him at Arsenal because I want to see what he can do as like the main sort of solo striker because we haven't seen that at City. So I think we'll better know this year. But in just my personal opinion, from what I've seen from him, I just don't see the hype in him. I really don't.
All right. So here's the thing: people that know me, I've known that I've rated Jesus from when he was at Palmeiras doing Copa Libertadores things. Yeah, for one, when Man City signed him, was like, I used to speak to Drift all the time and be like, bro, we should have signed Jesus. You know. Jesus is going to be sick. And even though Jesus started amazingly well, and then it was hard for him. But remember saying that, he displaced Aguero for the first maybe couple of months and whatever. He made Aguero work even harder for his position, yeah? And Aguero had to kind of double down and be like, this young buck is trying to take my place. Jesus, in my opinion, is a quality player. He might not be a predatory striker, but he is a quality player. The reason I say that is this: he can play across the front three. Easy. It's light work for Jesus. Light work. For me, he can play in various systems. I think the whole predatory thing, he's either going to learn it or is always going to be that way. But in my opinion, you've got a player on your hands who will understand, first of all, instruction. This is another thing. Richarlison, for me, is a bit more of a maverick player. He'll do things his way. I feel like Jesus is going to look at instructions and take, especially working under Pep, and understand his assignment, what he needs to do. He might not necessarily get you 20 goals, 25 goals in the Prem, but I think he's going to cause problems, and I think he works well for Arsenal. And Liverpool fans might not even like me saying this. If Jesus was to sign for Liverpool, yes, the Man City rivalry will be annoyed, but Jesus also works in our system as well because of how tactically flexible he is as well. And this is not me disrespecting Richarlison, because I think Richarlison, as much as I don't like him, he's a good player, but I just think Jesus has more to his game. I think Jesus is more of a complete player. Richarlison on his day can still do stuff. Don't get twisted. If I'm not mistaken, Richarlison's probably got a slightly better record for Brazil if you're going game for game. Because that's the thing. Richarlison like, in that front three, he's very versatile himself. But I just think Jesus, in my opinion, like he can do the false nine. He can play off the shoulder. And as much as people know, like I like to banter Lee a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna be serious. Arsenal have, in my opinion, got one of the best signings of the summer for what they needed. In terms of the striker to be tactically flexible and to grow as well, and they brought a player that used to be in the Champions League and is now not playing in the Champions League, and to get him, that's a big coup for them. I can't lie to you. It is a big coup for them.
Yeah,
and I think it's only going to strengthen them. But just like you've Richarlison, though, you see, when Son and Kane don't play, there's always, I'm sure you would tell me, there's that fear of, oh no, we've got no Son. Now Richarlison is there. If one of them's missing, bro, it's not that much of a big deal. Obviously, Son and Kane are still world class, but if you've got Kane and Richarlison and Kulusevski, you're still doing something. And I think that's where it was before, where you have Moura, who was very inconsistent.
Yeah, no, and I'll just say, like, for Arsenal, like, I actually think what the good thing that's about the Jesus signing is obviously, like you said, it's the fact that he's going to be versatile and probably playing off the wing a lot since he's been doing it. He did it for City a lot recently.
Yeah, he can do
so
a
the
lot,
fact
bro.
that he's playing sort of with Nketiah a lot, I imagine that's going to help a lot. I think for me, it was like if he was coming in as a solo striker, as in to be that number 9, that's where I think there's a problem, because he just does not have that like sort of clinical, like the clinical prowess in him to just be that 20-goal season striker. But like you said, like the fact he's playing alongside the front three is going to help a lot. So I'm not saying he's bad or anything. It's just only my personal opinion that I just don't think he's got. There's just something about it. It's the fact that he's not that clinical for me is what I worry about.
Yeah. Another thing I'll say as well, why I think that Jesus and Richarlison work for the clubs that they've gone to, but will be interesting, is I don't think Jesus is capable of carrying the burden, though. So even though I think he's a better player, we have no evidence of that yet. Where with Richarlison playing for Everton, I think it's actually a fact that he can carry the burden. So if Kane isn't playing and he's up front, he will thrive on being the main guy, because we saw him do it for Everton. So I do believe, regardless of who you think is better, they work for the clubs they've gone to. They actually do work for the clubs that they've gone to. But it is to be seen, can Jesus handle being the main guy? Because being Arsenal's best player, being their gunman now, he does have to live up to that. He can't get 8 league goals or 10 league goals. He has to get 15 to 20 league goals now. He's Arsenal's main man, and they're trying to get back into the top 4, trying to win trophies.
Agreed.
He has to be clutch.
Yeah,
he has to be clutch, and he has to carry them now.
If I'm being honest, I think he had... If we're going off previous experiences, you probably would say no. However, and I can't believe I'm saying this, he has the potential to do it, though. Like, for me, I've always... Bro, there's a player there that, like, Arsenal got, in my opinion, a really good player. And I know people are going to say, Matt, you're being biased, but, bro, Jesus is a quality player. Yes, he might not be predatory. I understand that. But I still think he's going to offer them a dimension that they haven't. Bro, they got a hard-working number 9/winger or /forward who, on his day, If you feed him enough and you give him confidence, he can score. Man, I forget him. When he first came to City, bro, I think he got like 7 goals in 10 appearances.
He actually scored against us in his first game, but it
bro,
was disallowed,
he
luckily.
was
and it shouldn't have been.
hungry, and Pep said, I'm throwing you into the deep end. Can you swim? He said, yes, I can swim. That's what people are forgetting. But the only problem is people are also forgetting he was up against a legend in Aguero. Aguero was always gonna win that battle, but Jesus was the one that, in my opinion, actually made Aguero have to up his game. Aguero couldn't just do the whole I'm gonna stand there and wait for the ball to fit. Aguero had to work harder because of Jesus. I'm not saying I'm not a Jesus fanboy. I'm not, obviously, but I do rate the guy, and I just think there shouldn't be no shade. Like people saying, Arsenal bought Jesus, he's a reject, he flopped at City. In my opinion, I just think City thought there's an opportunity here to go and get Haaland. We know Haaland is an automatic gunman. Jesus ain't that guy. I didn't say that they didn't want to keep him, but if you're getting Haaland, Jesus is going to look at it and go, well, I've had to wait my time under Aguero, and now you're buying Haaland. It's time for me to bounce in it. Let me see if I can do it elsewhere.
Just to quickly play like a bit of like a devil's advocate on it. Like, is there like not? I feel like no one's really even spoken about this either. Like, is there not really a thought that like Man City clearly aren't worried about strengthening a potential rival by selling him? Same with Sterling to Chelsea. Is that because clearly they're going to know so much more about these players than any of us will, because they've literally worked with them for the past years. Is there not like a concern there then that the fact that they're so willing to just let them go to another sort of top 6 Premier League team, or is it just purely the case both teams are willing to pay X amount for these players that had a year left?
I think
because I don't think Man City are naive. I don't think they're just going to
but I think they can be a bit
rival. Do you know what I mean?
I think a little bit arrogant now, because here's the thing. Sterling's not everyone's cup of tea, but Sterling will get you goals. I think what it is that City are so focusing on us, they feel like, if we're giving players to other teams, it's not really too much of a concern because Liverpool are the main team we have to worry about. However, that could come back to bite them. A new season is always a new season. It's a blank canvas, isn't it? No one knows what's gonna happen, bro. Bro, for all we know, you could be top of the league after 10 games, and everyone's like, oh my days, like, I knew Spurs were gonna be sick. I didn't know they were gonna be that sick. Bro, in my opinion, I think Man City are underestimating the players that they've let go. Because here's another thing. Haaland, we know, will most likely get you goals. Julian Alvarez, yes, he's a talent from River Plate. He's a talent, bro. But how do they know that he's going to adapt as quickly as Jesus? How do they know he's going to adapt and maybe get the same amount of goals as Sterling? He won't. They're taking a risk. They're taking a gamble. They have players there, in my opinion, that they probably didn't want to necessarily let go. I don't think they wanted to let Sterling go.
I think it's money, new deal.
New deal, bro. Sterling wanted a new deal, bro.
Can we just establish that Jesus is better than Kulu, and he walks into that team? So the point that you're making about they didn't want to sell to a rival and all these other things, like, no matter what you want to say, and again, this whole Kulu hype, look, he's a good player, whatever, but he's been there 4 months. This second season syndrome is a real thing, and when teams start to realize how he plays and what he does, and they're going to adapt to him, there's going to be real issues that are going to come, because he's not going to be able to have the freedom of the pitch. He's not going to be able to do all the things that he's done in the last 4 months. And that's not me saying he's a bad player, but you have to. The reason why people can't laud Salah and all of these players and Jota and Son as world class or very good players is because they do it consistently. So let's see what someone like Cooley does. But anyway, back to my original point. Jesus, I believe, look, at the end of the day, you have to keep it real. Alvarez and Haaland are probably better strikers, actual gunmen strikers, than Jesus. So it's clear they've upgraded. So I don't really look at it and think, oh, well, Man City are getting rid of someone because he's not good enough. They've just got someone who's that clear level above. So they had to obviously get rid of Jesus. And the other issue is obviously, clearly he wanted game time because he wants to go to Brazil. This is an important time for every single player, because you can't, it's not like normal seasons where you can get to January and then kind of make a new position or like new team, because obviously you can have the World Cup at the end of the year. It's not going to be like that. So a lot of teams are going to be really nervous about selling or buying players, because everyone wants to play for the World Cup spots, man. So I feel like it's really important. But look, like I'm not here
money.
I disagree with all the Kulu stuff, but yeah, the rest of it.
I genuinely just feel it's money, guys. I think that, I mean, they wouldn't have sold to us, as Matt said, with direct rivals, but they've got 90 million for 2 players in their last year of their contract.
True.
It's money. I think they're just smart now. They know that they can't keep checking the books. They can't keep doing all that. And they have to get money back. They couldn't let both of those players go for cheap. And abroad, they would have got half the money. Sterling wouldn't have moved abroad, I don't believe. And I don't think they would have got 45 mil from Jesus from another team. Like from Spain or from Italy or anywhere. Yeah. So I genuinely just think they thought 90 mil for 2 players in the last year. It's amazing business. I can't even lie.
They've only got like 10 mil overall so far. And the fact that they might sell Ake for another 40 is nuts.
Bro, that's amazing.
Oh my God, I forgot about Ake. Hold on. So they've got 120 million for 3 players they don't need.
Yeah,
that's crazy when you think.
And even if they wanted to keep them drift, as you said, the perfect thing you said was they were in the last year of their contract, bro. You know, not even back in the day, but normally when players in the last year of their contract, it's like a 25 mil thing kind of thing, bro. They're getting fees almost like the players still got 2-3 years left.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Do you know what I will say as well with City? To be fair, is I do think their recruitment is great as well. I can't really think back to many players in recent years that have flopped joining City. I think they've
look at this. They got 40, 50 odd mil for Torres.
That's true. I can't.
Did you see what the Barca's president came out or the CEO came out about that as well?
What did he say?
He was like, "I love Pep and obviously whoever the director is," and it was like, "But they sold us this Ferran and he can't score a goal." And it's like, she said that is nuts. So the fact they made 50 million on a player that doesn't even score,
that's mad.
You know, obviously we're going to talk about Arsenal, obviously. But I've got 2 super chats just quickly. George, he's been outscored by Chris Wood for 4 years. Changed his name to Richard's son, and he's a £15 million player. It's rarely.
And what's the actual minutes? Someone get me these minutes that he's played, and then come back to me.
I mean, do you want to say anything quickly before we move on that one, George?
No, it's just he's in a shit Everton team, and he's not coming in to be a starter. I'm happy. We need proven players. We haven't done that since I've been alive. So I'm happy we're doing something different.
No, fair dues. Baby Assassin, big up, bro. I don't rate Sterling that highly. He's a basic player. There's no X factor about him. He can't make something out of nothing like Hazard used to do for us.
I think that's a bit disingenuous. He's not old school Hazard, but that's disingenuous.
I totally agree.
Really, Sterling ruins us every time he plays against us.
But I don't think Sterling.
I've got to be honest. I'm leaning more to agreeing with Lee than I am the other way.
Bro,
I don't know about basic.
Have you seen how many goals he scored at his age?
Basic
do you know how many times they cut the ball back at Man City though, George? It's like just tapping City
Nah, but I think it's a bit disingenuous to say like Sterling don't do like 1-2s running off the ball. I think his footballing IQ is good. What it is, he just doesn't have necessarily a technical ability like a Hazard, especially with both feet. He doesn't. But he's a nimble dribbler. Yes, at times he can get like a bit too ahead of himself. But I'm not gonna lie, he has gotten better and better and better and better. It's just that he will never be that, like, in my opinion, he'll never be seen as like one of the greatest Premier League like players to like grace the game. But he'll always be a very, very good Premier League player.
All right, let me ask you a quick question, Matt, and any of you lot can jump in on this if you want as well.
Yeah.
It's the last minute of the game, and you need a goal to win, whatever it is, whatever the scenario is, you need a goal to win. The player is 30 yards from goal, and it's looking like he's got to do it. There's no pass on, there's no nothing. He's got to conjure something here on his own. Like, you can pass the ball to Richarlison, Saka, Sterling, Diaz, De Bruyne, or Bernardo Silva. Yeah. Actually, for fun, I'll throw in Havertz as well because he was at 80.
That's a lot of names, bro. But yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I know who I'm going for straight, though.
I know. All of those players, what's the chance you pick Sterling?
I know what you're saying. No one's.
But KDB shouldn't be in that list anyway because I think he's number one for me, hands down.
No, but so what the guy said, what the guy said to kind of back what he's saying is, he's not the type of player that has that X factor about him where he's capable of just having that moment of magic where where he'll win you a game. That's what he means.
But that doesn't also make him basic, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I said basic? Just quickly. Lee, tell me if you quickly agree now and in your time, bro. Would you say, like, who I say is basic? Shane Long. Shane Long's a basic footballer. Like, give him the ball and let him run onto it. You know the ones, Lee. Pass the ball long and he'll run onto it and then he'll finish it. But yeah, go on.
And guys, look, we need to kind of like really understand if Sterling does create 1 or 2 goals that are from a world-class kind of piece of skill, that doesn't mean that he does that consistently. Sorry. So we have to kind of take it into context. If he does that, it's great, amazing. But we still need to think about, is he that kind of guy that, as Jifty said, more time out than not, or 7 times, even 6 times, I'm trusting him one-on-one, through and goal, nerves are still in a last-minute cup final that he's going to score, or is he going to shift it onto his left, do a little like Cruyff turn, and then bang it in the top corner? More times than not, I don't believe but he's still a quality player that can produce moments of quality. But like, that's what people go off. They go off this whole, if I say that one thing, then it means that he can't do another thing. But like, the 2 things can be true, you know. He can have moments of quality, and he can obviously still. And again, look, and again, this is no shade at all. At this moment in time, Diaz is an amazing player with a great piece of skill all the time, but his finishing is quite poor. Does that make him a crap player? No, at all, not at all. But he's still got things that he can work on and develop, and that doesn't mean that he's not good at all. No way does that mean he's crap.
I agree with that. He used to work in
because people will always go for the exception rather than the rule. So the exception is he can bang a shot from 20 yards. I've seen him do it once or twice. But the rule is,
I know what you mean.
The rule is
consistency. Though.
Yeah, he's not going to do that for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So because I forgot to say Son in that list as well. Like, he's the type of player that for me, more often than not, is going to score. He's clinical. Does he miss occasionally? Yeah. But people will always look at that guy. But remember when Son missed that chance? I'm like, Son is arguably top 3 most clinical players in the league. There's not many players I trust from 20 yards more than Son. He puts it in the back of the net at a ridiculously high rate. With either foot. Do you know what I mean? But because he'll have that little period where he might miss a couple chances, people won't see it. So I'm just saying, Sterling for me isn't really an X-factor player, but his numbers are brilliant. His numbers are brilliant. There's no doubt in his numbers are brilliant. But just quickly before we go as well, we've got to talk about Arsenal. How are you feeling about what's going on, bro? Because this time last week or this time 2 weeks ago, it looked like you were going to be getting a lot more players than you currently have. But you are now chasing Paqueta, which I tell you for a fact now, I hope you don't get him. I don't give a shit if I sound like a hater. I hope you do not get Paqueta. Paqueta is a baller. I want him at Liverpool. Talk to me, bro.
What's going on? I want as well, but I don't think we'll ever go for that sort of player.
Look, at this moment in time, like there's a lot of stuff going on, and I think we got gazumped, or we got kind of taken over by this Rafinha thing. I was kind of on the train. I was feeling it, and obviously now we're going to Barcelona. I feel like what happened was the easy transfers were done quite early. So your likes of Nunez's and your likes of Nunez and your Haaland, they were easy transfers because it was either you pay the release clause or you know what the club kind of wanted. But I think now what we're waiting for is a stumbling block of other teams' transfers. And I think there's a lot of stuff happening around Barcelona, coincidentally. So I feel like when Barcelona start to spend money, then Man United will spend money. Then I feel like other clubs can kind of know what they're doing, how much they've got, and they can sort of progress from there. For us, look, we know we're going to spend. I just don't see how Arsenal aren't going to get another forward in. Like you can't say that we're going to go for Rafinha and then not get anybody. And as I said, I heard a few weeks ago that we're going for certain players. The Paqueta thing, I like him, but I got asked yesterday. I was on AFTV with my guy Turkish, and he asked me out because we've been linked to Savic, we've been linked to Paqueta, and we've been linked to Tielemans, who I want. And I just feel like for me, I'm still going to stick with the safer option of Tielemans. It's not because I don't think Paqueta is good. He had a poor half of to the end of this last season, but I just there's something about Tielemans who I just feel like he's a safe option. Maybe I'm being too. I don't want to be too risky. Maybe I'm burnt by Pepe from France. I don't know, but look, like I like Paqueta and I like Tielemans, and look, I feel like we should be getting both of them.
Put his house on sale as well. So.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Look, like I said,
has he?
I've heard the Tielemans thing is like if he wants to come to us, like it's done in a minute. Like he's ready and he's waiting. Like he's basically walking down to North London by himself already. So I feel like that's a quite easy. That's an easy. That's
our bop, you know. Leicester to North London. That's our bop.
It is, but we're taking our time. So by the end of September, he'll be there. You get me? So, yeah. Yeah, look, like it's a thing where I know that Arsenal are going to get players in. It's just where we're going to really focus our money. And for me, going back to what you guys were saying earlier, Jesus is a really, really good player in my opinion. But going back to your earlier question, you asked me how many goals is Jesus going to get, and I'm saying 18 to 21 goals in the Prem. So if I'm saying that, I feel we still need another goal threat up front. I'm not too sure that that's going to be enough to get us that third place that I've said, or even fourth place. I don't know. So we did also bottle the Martinez deal apparently. But look, if Man United are going to pay £55 million for a player who is worth £30 million. I'm not, like, I just don't want to do that. And again, no shade. I don't want to be Liverpool paying the money that you paid for Núñez, because he's not worth it. In my opinion, he's not worth it. And we saw yesterday. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that too much. We ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna digress. But anyway,
we are really not gonna talk about 30 minutes in a preseason.
I was gonna this.
No, we could, but we're not going to. But anyway,
what happens if you lose Gabriel to Juve and you need to replace him? Because I feel like he's probably the heart soul of your defense in terms of like actual defensive.
No, but George, you're forgetting Saliba's the best defender in the world. Remember?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that one.
No, they got Saliba and Gabriel doing our bits now. Ben, I swear down.
A lot of that, a lot of the Gabriel talk is just contract stuff. He's doing the Salah hype. Okay. He's doing the whole I don't want to go, like, because he's not said once that he wants to go at all. There's nothing about him wanting to go. It's more about like Juventus are just putting these figures out there. Like, so don't believe all that you hear, man. It's not true. But anyway. For me, like, I know we're going to get players. I know what we need. We need a left back. Well, we need cover for that sort of fullback position because of Tierney. He's played since he's come. He's played less than 50% of games available. So that's clearly not good enough. We definitely need a sort of another. We need another kind of position or two positions in the centre mid. And I said we need a shout out to Tapping Tobes. He always says like those shooters. We need a shooter up front. We need someone who I believe is going to be. Like just I don't know, like someone who's going to be maybe a bit more clinical than what I believe Jesus isn't at this moment in time.
Well,
that's going to cost money though.
I was going to say because all right, here's the thing where I'm a little bit baffled though, and this is not even say this is me just being fully real. Yeah, you sign Jesus, who's your marquee signing, who Arteta really believes in him, and then obviously you've got Nketiah, who was all jokes aside, he was given that number 14 and he signed that new deal. Yeah. That says to me that I feel like he's going to bank on those two. I think that's just like your first, basically, in my opinion, this is your first phase of strikers. 2-3 years later, you might get something different. But I think Nketiah signed that new deal and you spending the money on Jesus, I think your striker, like centre-forward position, ends there with those two. However, it wouldn't surprise me if you get another forward, because remember, he's going for Rafinha, and that's where he probably feels like he can get more goals. So whether it's a left winger or a right winger, but I don't think it's a centre forward, only because, like I said before, Jesus being the marquee signing and Nketiah taking on more responsibility now, bro. What do you think about that, or do you feel like I'm wrong?
Do you know what? Again, like yes, so we played Nuremberg last week, and I'll be honest with you, the link up between the two of them looked good. Like, again, it's a second-tier German team, but the link-up looked good. And you can only go off what you see. And again, I am making jokes about Núñez, but the reason why I do make a little bit of jokes about Núñez, because if Jesus missed those chances, no matter what anyone wants to say and agree with me, I know you lot would have been bantering. I know there would have been a sly dig. And that fact of the matter is that it is what it is. Like, it's football. It happens. So for me, I'm just looking at it and I'm saying to myself, like the wide forward thing, I don't know, because we've got so many players in those positions. But look, if that's the kind of position that like Arteta wants to kind of beef up and go forward, then yeah, going back to what you were saying, the Nketiah and the Jesus up front, if that's what he wants to go for, I think it's a risk. I think it's a risk because none of them are, as Jules said, none of them are 100% guaranteed. None of them. So. Look, I don't know. You know what, Dean? I will say that we did concede 3 goals to a German team, but at this moment in time, I would probably compare Man United at the same level. So, I mean, I would take that down.
I was waiting for you to clutch.
I would take that down because you conceded an extra goal and you didn't score any. And Salah was on the pitch, and Núñez was on the pitch, and Diaz was on the pitch.
You are clutching.
I don't know.
Your clutch run out yet, bro? I'm surprised your clutch is still going, bro.
I don't know, man.
You know what?
Listen, I don't know, but
To be fair to Lee, when he was talking with Robbie, and Robbie was really trying to big up Gabriel, I think Lee is very level-headed when it comes to Gabriel and understands that Saliba probably is better than Gabriel. And if they got money for Gabriel, if they replaced him, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, he's a good player. He is a good player. But when I hear Arsenal fans putting him in the same category as some other players, it actually makes me laugh so much. I don't even pay any attention.
I understand that. Here's the thing. This is where I think Arsenal can have I can't believe we're speaking positive about Arsenal, but here we are. But here's the thing, yeah. If you got Gabriel, I know exactly. No, it's true. If you got Gabriel, if you got Gabriel and Saliba, they can build something there, because I think Gabriel and Saliba are way better than Ben White. I can't lie to you.
I agree with that.
Arsenal fans, here's the thing: if Saliba does as well as they think he will do,
and Cedric, don't forget that.
Yeah, can't forget Cedric, bro. Never.
And Holding.
Cedric.
Why you got to do that?
Yeah, Holding. Ben White will be forgotten about, but it also will look like Ben White was kind of like not a waste of money, but especially spending 50 mil for someone who's going to be the backup. But at least they still got the third backup. My whole point is this: as an Arsenal fan, all jokes aside, you should see positivity because you're making the right signings, and I think you're heading in the right direction. The problem is that when you've got a Spurs who are also doing the same thing, you've got us, and you've got a Man City, and you've got Chelsea. That gap that you have to try and close, you have to be decisive. Like how you found that last season, no banter aside, when they pipped you to that full spot, it's because Spurs were like a little bit more decisive. And I think this season is where you can't make those same mistakes. So the players that you have bought, Lee, they kind of have to hit the ground running, or at least be more decisive in those decisive moments, bro.
Yeah.
Lee, who is going to hold bench? Who is going to hold the bench, bro? Real talk. You paid 50 mil for Ben White. Gabriel is supposed to be your best centre-back. And Saliba's going to want to bounce if he's not first-team football after playing well for Marseille. Who's getting dropped, bro?
It's Ben White.
You know the joke of it, yeah? You know what? We played 3 at the back against Nuremberg, and I actually questioned it. And I was thinking, is it just because of the plays that we had? Because we did have Murray there, and obviously, similar to what you did yesterday, you played sort of like 3 teams. And we had quite a few defenders on our bench. So I don't know if it was because we had quite a few defenders, or he's maybe going to try and creep that back in, because we did do that in the first season to shore up defense. I don't really like 3 at the back, but it could be a 3 at the back thing. I don't really know. But if we do go to a sort of 4-3-3 that we're kind of alluding to for the last couple of seasons, listen, that's a tough one. But you know what? It's better to have the quality. Similar to what Liverpool say, like, you guys want the quality for Klopp to make decisions. If we got the quality, like, it's down to the manager to make those decisions, and that's what we want. We want good problems. And look, at the end of the day, at this moment in time, Saliba hasn't proven anything in the Prem, so I don't believe that he should be coming in.
Agreed.
And I've heard that he signed a new 5-year deal anyway. But you can't come in here and do this whole. And again, Arsenal fans will be saying, "Oh, he's like the Mbappe of centre backs." This is all hearsay, man. Like, we need to see you in action before we can start giving out all these.
That isn't the talk going around the Arsenal camp. Please tell me that's not the talk.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that as well. Like, I have seen that against.
This is why I respect you, because I know you don't buy into that madness.
No. But like, what I will say is, he looks good, but I just don't. Come on.
Must have to learn, you know.
When are they gonna learn? When are they gonna learn?
No, but he looks quality. So look, I can see why we're kind of growing as a club, and we feel a bit more optimistic. But I don't want to go too far with him and say that he's the messiah of centre backs, because at this moment in time we ain't seen nothing. You know what my other thing about the manager is? As I said to you, I believe we need to get top 3. I don't want this top 4 thing, because at the end of the day, he's been here so many years now, and he's got us 8th, and 5th. So there needs to be progression. We had progression from last season, well, the season before to last season. I feel like there needs to be more progression. He hasn't ever got us into the Champions League. He won us 1 FA Cup, and he got us a Poxy Community Shield, which, look, it's another trophy to add, like, no matter what you want to say. So he just now needs to learn from his mistakes, and you can only be a dunce for so long. And you Caribbean people, you know, dunce is a stupid boy. And you can only be someone that you either get licks, or
I hate that for time.
Or you learn. That's it. So everyone kind of needs to do this learning Liverpool league kind of thing. So look, Arteta, you got to learn, man. Listen, otherwise you're out the door.
You got to learn today. Let me just go through a couple of these supers before we wrap up. But guys, make sure you smash the like button. Everybody's channel is in the description. Make sure you go and support the boys as well.
Trust.
Zabiri in the kitchen. Naby looked at Klopp like, you sold Mane for him. Let's allow the Nunes slander, yeah?
The man is slandering man already.
Yeah,
that performance yesterday was questionable.
Zabiri, though. Oh, come on, man. The guy's got blisters and he just missed one chance. What are we talking about?
To be fair, I heard he didn't get his ass pumped in time, so it makes
you can't
sense.
say that.
Look, it's all coming on now. Wow. Liverpool 12th man says, so 22 copper golden boot needs work on finishing, Lee. Because you said that he can't finish, but he said he's going to get 22 goals. So
listen, no. Yeah, he's going to get 22 goals. But listen, we know that he's got issues with that. Like, we know that he's not been the most clinical, but he came to Arsenal to be the number 9. He wants to step up. He's seeing this waste man, Richarlison, at Spurs, trying to take over his position in Brazil when he was a number 9 when he was 21 years old. He now needs to know that he's got to get back into that position. And you got these waste men like Richarlison that are coming out and doing this nonsense. Come on, man.
Yeah, Brazil still choose him and he still scores.
Listen, Trent wasn't even going to go for England, man.
Do you know what I love about this rivalry is that the fact that it is Arsenal and Tottenham, because it's not going to just be about the players, it's about the team. It's going to get real.
It's so mad how they both signed Brazilian forwards as well. That's kind of
let's pause with the word rivalry, because I believe you got to win something to call it a rivalry. But look,
all right. Big up, John.
That's why they're chasing top 4 the last 10 years.
You're quiet now, dude. You're quiet now, dude.
It's okay. Keep chasing the top 4. Keep chasing the top 4.
Not looking good.
Arteta's 5th season. Come on, it's going to be interesting.
It's not looking good, bruv.
But not for me.
Look, I can't wait for this season. You know, this Lee versus George is going to be hilarious.
It's going to be crazy, bro.
There's nothing to verse. We're going to be battling for the top. They're looking for 4th.
Big up, John.
Wait, you know what?
Always.
I'm loving the fact you're wearing that T-shirt, because I feel like that's the last time you won a trophy, though. For real.
Good one.
Ash,
you ain't got nothing.
What can I say? I ain't one shit.
Look. Remember Guna Lee. Jota has outscored Martinelli at the Emirates in his career so far. Keep learning. Nunes will outscore Jesus. I have £100 charity bet with you, Guna. Someone has to call your bluff. Right, so Ash is saying £100 to your chosen charity that he gets outscored. What are you saying, Lee?
Hold on, Jota has. Hold on, so he's asking me that Nunes will outscore Jesus. You know what? I'll do that. And just the first part, yeah, he might have got more goals than Martinelli, but Jota's been chasing his first touch for a long time still. So look, like it's equal, I feel.
Jota's been chasing
more lies, but and Zabiri's back again. Nah, I'm slandering Naby like he's better than Nunes. Okay. Fair enough. A little subtle shade there on Naby there, Matt. Ignore it.
I'm not even gonna buy it, bro.
Just a quick question for you guys before we leave that MC left earlier that I thought was quite interesting, just like purely out of curiosity. What would you consider important traits for a striker, guys?
The most, like the question, or you say,
or just what would you? I mean, the obvious thing is he puts the ball in the net, but what do you look at and go, nah, that's a striker?
It's movement.
I say movement
and mentality. Like I think you see mentality. So movement, mentality, aggression, and being clinical. More times than not, if you got those attributes, you're good in it. It's when you lack one of them. So majority of the time, like I said before, movement, mentality, aggression, and being clinical. Those things for me, if you've got that, more times than not, you are serious. You are very serious.
Yeah.
It's very
yeah. No, I was going to say, I think the most important trait as well is being able to speak, because like when Harry Kane scores a goal or he gets 2 or 3 goals, you can't really do an interview after. So I feel like that's an important trait as well.
Yeah, no, it's cool. You can keep practicing every time he has an interview, every time he wins a golden boot, something that your
Oh,
players
I swear my daughter's life that I scored a goal against Stoke. I did. I really did.
which you never said. I don't know what like the word is. You see the levels that Arsenal have fallen to, where they were claiming like this Invincibles is the highest level ever, and now they have to slander someone's speaking abilities. That's the level that they've dropped to now. That's mad. I'm loving
Man
this.
wants me to back the
I'm
thing. I
loving
can't,
this.
bro. I'm sitting on the fence.
I'm loving this. They're worrying about our strikers, our own strikers' speech. That's how far they're falling. It's amazing.
No, you know what?
That man want me to do the cave voice.
No, don't do it.
He can speak
I
however
can't,
he
bro.
wants when he bags 3 goals against you every single game, like he always does. I am here for
But
it.
what did he score a goal against us last season when he was at the Emirates? Because I feel like we beat you 3-1. Do you remember that one?
Well,
But
it
anyway,
matter? What was the home game that actually crumbled your team? Your team crumbled and couldn't even go up north.
I'm gonna listen. We won the league at White
He owns
Hart
your
Lane.
club.
We won the league at Shite Hart Lane. But anyway,
He
look, I
was
just wanted to say,
with you when he was 5 years old and said, "Nah, f this. They're going downhill," and they've come and he's the best striker in the Prem.
No, apparently we got rid of him because he was a fat boy. I don't know. Apparently,
How's that turned out?
and look, he's got a lot of goals.
And it's
but
weird
he
because
ain't
I heard Arsene Wenger liked little boys as well, so I'm surprised he didn't see the vision from the future. So it's a weird.
Listen,
He paid a lot of attention to the under 12s, which is mad.
Only special boys get that treatment, and he wasn't up to that level. And you can see he's clearly he's got the goal, but he can't win anything with it, man. He's done so much.
He was captain England to their best success in 60 years. It's calm.
You know what though? It's annoying because he should have stayed with Wenger because Wenger probably would have been able to teach him how to speak English. I really believe.
Oh, right, like you just did there with a little stop there.
Hey, you know what? This season is gonna bang.
The rivalry between you lot is gonna be banned. Big up to both you. Big up to both you. Big up to both you.
We actually could go like all evening, man. This is
bro. I can see already, bro. I can already see.
There's no hatred at Tottenham Arsenal. You know, I don't believe so. Anyway,
them man will be them man will be messing and beefing as well. Like when the thing's done as well.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is, when you're beefing over things, and this isn't being shady, like when you're beefing over actual like trophies and stuff, like you can get what the beef is about. These men are beefing over just anything. They don't matter. Both teams ain't winning. It's like
anything. It's just Arsenal Spurs, bro.
We weren't even talking about football for the last 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie. I just want the football to start now. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I want the opening game of the season. I want all of it. Man, it's gonna be hilarious.
I can't wait to see Basuma in a Spurs shirt, man. I'm excited. That's one thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward.
That's a great signing.
But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, guys. We've ran a tiny bit over, but it was fun watching you lot go back and forward. Make sure. It is kind of like watching mum and dad arguing. You're there, like, all right, I can't get involved, but like, because you never try to get involved, you'll get shouted at. Be like, no, man, this ain't got nothing to do with you.
Just turned on you.
I was about to get involved, and I thought, nah, you know what? Let these man do their thing. Let them man do their thing.
Oh man,
it's like a very civil war. Like they all just come together in the end of attack Liverpool. We'll do that next time. That's fine.
Do you know, actually, just quickly, because I did say we'll touch on City just quickly. Do you guys think that their business has been good in terms of they've replaced who's gone out with who's come in? And do you think that is it still leaves them in the best possible position?
Yeah, listen, I feel like what City have done is they've just it's a surefire that they're going to win the league. Like, honestly, I know I'm on a Liverpool channel, but I don't think Liverpool got a chance in hell. I just can't see it. I can't see what they've done as business as being good. I can't see what they're doing in the future as being good. I do like Carvalho, but there's a lot of pressure on him. I do like the Diaz, but he doesn't get enough goals at this moment in time. I can't understand for the life of me why you got Nunes. And look, your midfield it needs work. So look, it's out there for Liverpool to kind of catch up for Man City as it has been for the last couple of seasons as a whole. And look, good luck to you, man, because you know what. I always come at Liverpool and I always cuss Liverpool, but you know it's all love and respect. And I will always love Liverpool because you saved my summer from Spurs winning the Champions League. So Good luck.
Arsenal, your mum's ugly. Spurs, we got the same mum, bro.
No, but real talk, right now, Spurs are like that team that if it was a parent, like Spurs would be the dad that just come back and won a lot of money and said, you know what, I'm going to start paying my child support. So they're just sort of trying to reimburse for the couple of years or 15, 20 years that they ain't done jack crap. But yeah, look, we move.
Whenever it comes, it comes. I think City, just back onto the City thing. I think, yeah, man, it's tough one, man, because I'd love to sit here and say, yeah, Spurs are going to be fucking like challenging and doing this and the other, but for a team that's already put 90 plus points in the season and they've added 2 prolific goal scorers. All right, Alvarez will have to see if he can actually do in the Prem, but supposedly 2 prolific goal scorers and Calvin Phillips for depth for Rodri and potentially Cucurella to come in as left back so Cancelo can play the favoured right back and stuff like. I really do not see any weaknesses at all in this City team, which is going to be next to near impossible to beat. That's the problem.
All right, so with Man City, if I'm being honest, they done good business. Like I said before, they may have lost Sterling and Jesus, but to get, even if they just got Haaland and they didn't get Alvarez, I would even still be like, no, but if he's fit and they can just keep him fit, he's a shoo-in to score goals. It's a scary thought that they can win the league without a natural striker. Even though Jesus was there, all jokes aside, they didn't play him there. So yes, they had the striker, but Pep just didn't play him there. Maybe Pep thought he wasn't clinical enough, and fair play to him. But they won the league with him not having a recognized striker, so to speak. Yeah, they just didn't play. There were times when it was Foden, when it was KDB. Jesus obviously played there a couple of games, but it wasn't like they just found a way of how to win. It's scary that they've now bought Haaland. They got Alvarez. I've said this many a times. I think we will be their nearest compare, as always. I will still go on record and say Núñez probably wasn't my first choice. Like everyone knows that. Like he wasn't. I still think we overpaid for him. However, I'm hoping that he will prove me wrong. I'm banging a shed ton of goals. I think he will score goals. I just don't know how many. And the reason I say that is because even though some people will say, Matt, you have to move on for Mane and whatever, that is very, very true. Like what Dax was saying earlier. I just still think that if Mane was here this season, I still feel like Mane will do more so than what Núñez is about to do. And I could be wrong because for all I know, Núñez might score 25 goals and we win the league. I'm not saying he can't do that. I just don't see it. I don't maybe have the same beliefs as some others. And I will also double down on the Luis Diaz thing. And you've heard me say this many times on stream. I think Luis Diaz is a fantastic player. However, he has to work on his finishing. I've said this many, many times. He's only just come to Liverpool. He's going to acclimatize, obviously. But even like, and I know we're talking about preseason, but he just needs that clinicalness. And I think once that happens, we've got a head of a player on our hands. But the key for me this season, in my opinion, will be Diogo Jota and Fabio Carvalho, or obviously alongside Salah. But I think Carvalho, like I said before, will be the star of the star signing that will come to the forefront. And I think Jota will have another big season like Salah. And I just think Núñez shouldn't have too much pressure because other people will be scoring around him. And I think that's the way how he finds his feet. I just don't know how well he does.
Fair dues. 12th man with the last super chat. Only 9 players in Europe had more goals and assists combined than Diaz. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that Diaz had 19 league goals in Portugal before he left. So even though in Liverpool he hasn't been clinical, he scores a lot of goals for Colombia as well. He is a good goal scoring player. It's just he's got to just transition that over to Liverpool. Can he do that? I don't know, but he does have ability to score goals, so it'll remain to be seen.
100%.
I think just the way he is as a player, I think he's just going to get a lot more assists now with like the way you guys are set up. I think he's going to be very direct in attack on the wings, and it's just going to be quite easy for him to sort of cut it across and whatever striker's there. I don't think he's going to be this player that he's always going to be on the edge of the box shooting and everything's going in all the time. I think he has got that in him because I've seen it a few times before, but I don't think that's going to be his thing at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing is, Núñez, in my opinion, I know you talk about this, but you see Núñez, I said this before, and what's so mad is people were laughing at me, but as soon as a creditable person like Fabrizio says it, everyone's like, "Oh, I see it." I said when we signed Nunes, he reminds me of a young Cavani. Everyone was like, "No," I was like, because he's kind of like off the shoulder, running behind, very aggressive, not the greatest of touches, but can score goals. If he can translate that is Benfica form or Benfica season to Liverpool, we've got a player on our hands. But I also feel like he can go the other way as well. You know, like when you sign certain players, you kind of know. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, you know, I was gonna say, George, who's that guy that you signed from the Dutch league? I forgot. He's left-footed, and he was
Don't
kind
know
of.
who you're talking.
I think you remember when he left-footed, George. I'm trying. What was his name?
Janssen. What?
Yeah, you're one of them brothers. But like,
I mean, there was another guy they got from Spain. I think his name again with an S.
Salgado. But we moved.
He was a myth. He was a myth that we bought like the third top goal scorer behind Ronaldo and Messi, and he just ended up being so terrible. Like he was awful.
But all jokes aside, you see I'm coming from. Like, I think like he's got the potential to do that, but I also feel like he's also got the potential to just not be the guy who Liverpool fans thought he was gonna be. It's one of those ones. That's how I feel on him. It's not like a guarantee where it's like I can't explain it to you. Fernando Torres, if you're gonna look at his Atletico career, wasn't the most prolific striker. However, when we signed him, I just knew from his style of play and what he does. Suarez, even when we bought Suarez at Ajax, and he had that first season where he kept on hitting the post and missing chances, I still said, no, I can see it. There's something there that says he can do it. With Nunes, I'm just not sure. And I want to be proved wrong. And I think I will be proved wrong. But that's just me being honest. I don't want to give you no fake rubbish and say, oh, yeah, I know he's going to bag. And when he bags, like I said, I told you. So I'm not doing that. I'm just being honest. I'm just not sure on Nunes. I think he's good. I just don't know how good he's going to be. That's just me being honest.
Yeah. Listen, I totally agree. I really don't understand what Liverpool are doing. And I think what's quite scary with Liverpool is you remind me so much of Arsenal 6-7 years ago with the Arsene Wenger, where he could do no wrong. He was the king, the messiah. He kind of like protected the owners, and whatever Arsene Wenger said sort of was the gospel. And I feel like a lot of Liverpool fans have the track record of what he's done, how he improves players. But with Nunes, I really don't see it. But look, I didn't see it with Jota as well. And I don't even like Jota either, so maybe 2 peas in a pod. But with the Nunes thing, I just don't get it. But good luck again. Good luck, man.
Yeah, everyone will see. They will see. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, big up everyone. Big up to the panelists who had to leave. Big up George and Lee as always. And I look forward to the rivalry. Yeah. So everyone had to leave. Big up everyone who had to leave. Yeah, Daps, Aaron, Lewis. Make sure you go and follow those guys. Make sure you follow these guys. Make sure you follow everyone. Everything's in the description. And we will be back on Friday, guys, with obviously the call-in show. Tomorrow with obviously the daily news show. And we'll catch you on the other side. Big up everyone. And
thanks for having us again.
No, as always, brother.
Man.
As always.
Good to be back.
And everyone else. Trust me.
Big up everyone. And make sure you smash that like button on the way out, guys. Come on. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.